Great. Sorry for the wait. All right, let's kick it. Let's kick this pig.
I kick it how I want to kick it when I gotta kick it. But you can't tell me not to kick it because I'm about to kick it.
Cool. I'm glad, Sam. I'm proud of you.
It's Blackpink. I'm sorry. Everyone should K-pop. Actually, Maddie, you especially should K-pop. I think you would really, really like Blackpink.
I do some K-pop. I fuck with BTS.
Yeah, you should. If you fuck with BTS, you'll especially like Blackpink, so you should check them out. They're badass.
Blackpink, but is it black or is it pink?
It's Blackpink.
I don't like that.
They don't fit in my box. This is a black and pink world. You have to be either black or pink. You can't be Blackpink.
Exactly.
A movie about racism by Maddie Webber.
How many colors are there?
All of them.
All right, let's...
More, at least 3, as Joe Biden would say. To the RPG Book Club, a podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Maddie Webben.
I am Sam Allman.
And I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And this week we will be playing part 3 of the game Cosmic Star Heroine, which is chapters 7, 8, and 9, stopping after we get to a fun new planet. Unlike the fun new planet from last time, which was where we stopped last time.
Yes.
There's multiple planets in this game, it turns out. Anyway, before we get started with all of that, how was y'all guys this week?
No, go ahead.
Okay. My week was pretty good. What did I do this week? Why did I say it was pretty good? Did I even do anything at all? Oh yeah, I've been watching Dragon Ball Kai, and it owns, and everyone should watch Dragon Ball. It's good. It's good, fam. One thing I have noticed is like the fact that you don't get all of the filler in the super long episodes and stuff means like you care about some characters less. Like Gohan imprints on Piccolo when Piccolo basically kidnaps him for a year and trains him to be a fighter. And he wears Piccolo's clothes in the next story arc, and it becomes Piccolo Jr. and it's really, really cool. But in the Kai edit, you get like an episode of that. But in the original, it's like a whole filler sub-arc where Gohan is training with Piccolo out in the wilderness, and there's a lot of tough love stuff that Piccolo does and stuff. And, you don't get that. I feel it's okay, and we're used to getting entirely through an anime in 12 episodes or 26 episodes, so having it breakneck pace is fine. It's just, I will say that the stupid god-awful length shouldn't be that long of the original series does change your perception of some things, but...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And also, a lot of those filler episodes, some of them are, really good.
Yeah. I actually found a playlist that somebody had made that was like, okay, watch episodes 1 through 4 of Kai, and then watch the Vegeta and Nappa filler episodes when they first land, then go back and watch until the driving episode or whatever it turns out to actually be. And it's like, that episode's so good. These are the good filler arcs, so put these back in because they work really well.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically all I've been doing. And
literally, Dragon Ball does not even function as a work of art if you don't get the episode with Goku and Vegeta trying to get their driver's license.
Piccolo. Goku and Piccolo getting their driver's license.
Piccolo and Vegeta, yeah.
It's so good.
It all just falls apart.
Wow.
It's so great. Yeah, the filler is magic.
What about you, Eli? What's going on?
Well, so World of Warcraft Classic just launched yesterday, and I'm experiencing tremendous amounts of schadenfreude. Because there were so many people complaining about the queue, and I'm like, but this is the ultimate vanilla Warcraft experience.
Yeah.
Because that's what you did. You got stuck in a queue, and then you got put into an overcrowded starting area where you couldn't get anything done because it wasn't multi-tap back then. It was one tap per mob.
Yep.
And whoever got it first got it. And this is how it works.
Yeah.
And
no, it's my sheep.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's that mage's sheep.
But I was talking with Maddie before we started recording, and like everyone is complaining about it being so hard to get into it. When like Ian did a like Q&A this week that was like, "Hey, it's bad on purpose. If we fix it to make it not bad on launch, it'll suck forever." And frankly, we don't care about you, the person that's logging in to write an article about it. We care about the people that are going to be doing 40-man raids down the line. If there aren't 40 people on the server, they can't do those raids. So we're going to make it suck for the first 2 weeks. Deal with it. It'll be okay. We've done some things to make it at least playable. Like they did this really cool thing where instead of like in normal WoW, you get on like instance little servers with people. Here, instead of doing that, they literally just cloned the world map so that there are two sets of coordinates that lead to the same place in the world, and put half of everybody on each one.
Yeah.
And so they just
nice.
And people were bitching so much about the layering technology before the release. And I'm like, if there's not layering, it's going to be absolute hell. Yeah. And it was absolute hell even with layering. I saw screenshots of Northshire and Teldrassil.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was ridiculously crowded. Like I remember when I first participated in the Burning Crusade launch and I made a Draenei.
Yeah. It's wild.
It's crazy.
I'm so happy it exists too. Like
I'm very happy that it exists for the people who really want it. Yeah. And I'm happy that I can go back and see Brill the way it used to be, and maybe I'll do a little bit of light alternate universe RP. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to play it seriously, but for those who do want to play it seriously, good for you. I'm super happy. Yeah. But like there were people who were complaining so much about layering, but it's like if there was no layering, like it would just be it would be insane.
Yeah.
Ken his work friends wanted to play on the Herod server. Mm-hmm. They really wanted to play.
Seems to be the one everyone wants to play on.
Yeah, they really wanted to play on the Herod server, and they cited.
Wait, are the servers different?
Yes, they're separate classic servers. They all have different names from the...
no, I mean, like, is there a reason not to pick one over a different one?
This one's PvP.
That's why, okay.
Yeah, on the main game nowadays, there's not really a reason. They made basically everything the same except for roleplay servers. And so they just made PvP a toggle. But before, in Classic, you had to pick your server to be PvP or not.
Yeah. So... for those of you who don't play World of Warcraft and don't know, a PvP server means you have PvP enabled at all times, no matter what.
Yeah. So if some level 70 is just walking by and it's like, you know what, I'm going to fuck with that kid, they get to.
Yeah. Well, it would be 60 in vanilla, but
true,
yes.
Yes.
Like, he got home and he went to log in. And he turned to me and he's like, "Hey, look at this queue." And I look over and it's over 16,000 people.
Yep.
Look at this queue.
Yeah, it was crazy busy, and I'm not surprised at all. And I'm on Bloodsail Buccaneers mainly, so I was able to hop in and like get my characters set up, but like I didn't do anything with them. I'm like, I'm not gonna play like this. It's gonna be absolute madness, and I'm not gonna really get anywhere. So what's the point? And I'm going on vacation in a couple of days, which that's my second point of order. I'm going to be getting married on Saturday,
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm, like, getting really nervous about that. I got to spend all day today scrambling to get packed.
Yeah.
Because I work tomorrow, and then after work, I have raid, and then... Because I don't quit no matter what.
Right? I was about to say, don't you love your internet friends making you record a podcast and raid the week you're getting married?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You guys are great.
Sorry, no personal time allowed.
Thanks.
This
really appreciate it.
This podcast is hosted out of Texas, so it's a right to podcast state. So
if you my 27F podcast hosts, co-hosts, 30-something M, 27M have unionized.
Against my will.
Man, I would love if we unionized, because then y'all would pay me dues. I'd do whatever you wanted me to, as long as y'all just paid me for hosting costs.
That's unlikely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I gotta do all my packing today, and then like we're gonna have to leave at like 2 a.m. tomorrow to get to the airport at 3 a.m, and then get on our plane at 5 a.m. So
have fun.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be super fun. And one thing to remember is the moment you step onto the aisle when the thing gets started, nothing else can go wrong. So just ignore everything and live in the moment. And don't worry about your cake getting there. Don't worry about them playing everything. Like, all of that stuff. I said can't go wrong. It will go wrong. But don't... like, you can't... Well,
actually, I want to go ahead and say it largely, most of the time, won't go wrong.
True.
Most of the time, the other people who are in charge of doing things will do the things that they're supposed to do, and everything will be great. But yes, if some minor thing goes wrong, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It is...
Or a major thing.
It is your job to be having a wedding and not to worry about any of the stuff anymore. If something doesn't happen, it's your day, so you turn to the closest person and be like, hey, find somebody to fix this. And then you go back to sip your champagne and eat your cake and all of that.
Exactly.
Things.
Yeah. So,
look, as long as whoever performs the ceremony doesn't give a sermon that makes, like, one person cry, like, just with giant... loud heaving sobs for 20 straight minutes and gives like 2 other people panic attacks, then you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
That's
that sounds like you're
wedding.
Speaking from experience somehow.
That wasn't my wedding. That was my sister's wedding.
Oh god.
I was the one crying.
The officiant is one of the people who runs the company that we went through to have our wedding done. As far as I know, it's fairly non-denominational. I tried to find a Unitarian Universalist minister up there, but unfortunately, there aren't any.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So, oh well. I talked to sister. Sorry, my little bit more explanation. My minister at the church is Reverend Joanna. I went to school I went to a Catholic school, and one of the nuns was Sister Joanne. So I keep mixing the two up in my head.
Gotcha. Reverend Sister Joanne, parentheses,
Talk to Reverend Joanna. She tried finding a minister for me up there, said there was no UU church, so... Oh well.
Yeah. This did not happen this week, but I decided I'm going to actually tell everybody, and it's not going to be news to you guys, but you can pretend. You can laugh it up to the recording. But me and Summer are pregnant with our second baby and our third.
Wait, you are also pregnant?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
That's how it works.
Okay.
I grow half of the baby in me for 9 months, and she grows half of the baby in her for 9 months, and then we poop
That's equality.
We poop it back and forth forever, and then then the baby comes out.
Yeah, that's definitely how pregnancy works.
Yeah.
Thank you for enlightening us.
Yeah. I'm glad I could be the one to tell you.
Yeah.
I saw Sam and Summer pooping the baby, and then they had the baby, and the baby looked at me.
But yeah, we find out what we're having in like 20 days, which is 14 days. Summer just yelled from the other room. But
I hope that you find out it's human.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a Charizard, but I'll take what I can get.
Hey, if you don't get a Charizard, you can just trade your baby with someone else who did get a Charizard.
Actually, you have to trade it if you want it to fully evolve.
Well, that's only if they get a Machoke or a Haunter or...
Yeah. But yeah, that's a thing I decided I didn't want to not have to talk about anymore. So
hell yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I have even bigger news. No, it's
Are you pregnant with a Charizard?
It's not bigger news. I am also pregnant with big plans of myself being an e-girl.
Nice.
No, I ordered some streaming supplies on the internet, some various cables and such, and capture cards, and when it gets here, I should be able to start streaming.
And
should
computer?
be able to. It's more like also... Huh?
And a new computer?
No. I'm getting to that. One of the two devices legitimately just wouldn't work with my computer. The other one, I think, will. We'll just see if it works well enough or not. Anyway, no, whatever. So far with the equipment I have, I can do two things. I can stream old CRT games.
Oh, nice.
Or here's a better idea. This is gonna be my fun bit. I have an HDMI to RCA converter, so I can play new fancy graphics games on a CRT.
In good old fashioned 240p.
Hell yeah. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be my new aesthetic, it's gonna be my shtick. I might look into filters to make it look even worse. Yeah, so that's me. Look forward to me streaming shit.
Yeah.
If you like old school and incredibly lo-fi video,
right.
Look no further than Matthew.
That's me. And yes, I will continue shilling it. Anyway, yeah, that shit'll all get here pretty soon. It'll be fun.
Speaking of shilling things, would you like us to shill things for you, listener? Because now you can. On our Ko-Fi, we now have commissioned episodes where you can pick some game that's less than 15 hours long and pay us either $30 or $40, and we will then play it and talk about it, and then also talk about whatever you want us to talk about for about 5 minutes. So we will, knowing us, we'll go off on a tangent and end up talking about your thing for about 30 minutes because we're here at issue 20, minute 21, and we haven't answered how our week is yet. So
or we'll talk about it for 5 minutes, and then we'll talk about, like, I don't know, some movie no one's ever heard of.
Yeah. But yeah, so we started that. So far, nobody has picked it up, but maybe that's something that you, listener that's listening right now, would be interested in.
Yeah. And to clarify, we have veto power over anything we want to do.
Yeah, so if you're like, let's play Men's Rights the game, we will say, no thank you. And I will find some way to return your donation.
Yes.
I don't
However,
want to steal
I
from
promise that as your stalwart advocate of all things mediocre, that I will work hard to make sure that unless it's like, unless it's like problematic and bigoted, no matter how bad the game looks, I will be like, no, guys, we gotta play it.
This is not saying if your game is bad, we won't play it. I'm saying if you are a Nazi, we will not spread propaganda.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will be. I will probably be the least likely to veto any of these games.
But yeah, because we have so many ideas and cool things for bonus episodes, but all of us are young, dumb, and healthy, so we don't take off weeks very often, so we don't get to do a lot of bonus episodes. And we were like, hey, what if we made everybody else do it? And then there's also a small demographic of games, most of them action RPGs, that are too long for a bonus episode, but not long enough for a full episode, but also not they are RPGs, so they don't fit for shortcast. And we were like, if only we had like a space for a 2-parter, and now we do. We can do 2-part episodes, and that's what the $40 version is for. If you have a middle-length RPG that you want us to play that's 15 to 20 hours long, you pay us $40, and we'll talk about your thing for 10 minutes.
Do it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of RPGs, let's talk about Cosmic Star Heroine.
So, Cosmic Star Heroine, yeah.
But
so
first,
this week,
before I was so rudely interrupted, let's listen to some music from this week's playthrough.
Oh yeah, gotta do that.
I forgot about that.
And now we'll talk about Cosmic Star.
Now we'll talk about the video game. So, when we last let your heroes, a bunch of shenanigans had happened.
Yeah.
There was like a giant robot and shit. And long story short, we decided to head off to a new planet. Actually, not a new planet, a new old planet.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it was the.
Yeah, me either until we got there.
Well, I didn't even notice until the end of Chapter 7 when you go back to that first place. I'm like, oh hey, I know that.
So in a few chapters ago, we went to another planet called Romu, and that's where we got our mysterious artifact thingamadoo, right? Turns out that's now the big plot MacGuffin. It's bad, but we have it, and now we're going to go and get a basically an anti-MacGuffin thingamadoo. Essentially. So we're going to go talk to this guy named the Connoisseur, who is just a typical person you'd expect, like a rich, mysterious benefactor, probably bad collector guy.
He literally sounds like the Collector from Marvel Comics with his name changed to a synonym for Collector.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, it's a pretty stock sort of character type. And we're like, is he good? Is he bad? Who knows? We'll find out. So you go to Romu, and you have to go through like some dungeony type stuff. There's a couple of optional dungeons here. There's like an optional forest.
Did you find the in-game optional boss here?
Yes, I'll get to that in just a moment. Cool. Actually, before we move on to that, one interesting thing is at this point you have a little bit more freedom. You can fly to Romu or back to Aristia. Arianu.
Alistia is Rogue Galaxy.
Arenu. Anyway, Joker's trick. And you can. That's the name of the planet. Wait, no, it's Jaster, not Joker. Jaster's trick. Anyway, you can go back to the planet and explore the world map freely. I thought there wasn't any reason to do so because I went into a couple, like 1 or 2 areas, and all the dialogue was even the same. In fact, actually, if you go into the club, they're like acting like what's her name is going to play a show or something,
wow.
Which I'm like, okay, that's weird. Y'all should have changed the dialogue. But I found out later that actually there's a new mechanic in this game, so there is a reason to go around and talk to people, and I'll explain why in a second. So you get to the ship, and it turns out there's a fun new mechanic. I was going to share this memorable moment, but actually it should go now because it plays in. I talked to a character, and she's talking about how she's good at like items and stuff, and then she goes, please add me as your battle support unit so I can maximize your item effects.
Oh, yeah.
And I swear to God, I screenshot it because I was going to complain and be like, is this some kind of stupid reference?
but
like,
no, there's
a reference to some kind of game where you have support units. What is this like Fire Emblem? No, it turns out there's a new mechanic.
Yeah.
It turns out that there's a new mechanic now that the game had not explained to me yet when I talked to this girl.
Yeah.
Where now you can change your party freely unless the game says you can't. And you have a support character in addition to your 4 characters, and it's just a passive bonus that you get to pick. So go around and talk to NPCs, including backtracking to the planet of Arianu, and you can recruit all sorts of different characters who will join your cause, and you can use them as your passive abilities. It's pretty fun. What's the one that has been the most useful for y'all?
I'm trying to remember the one that I have. I think it's just the physique bonus guy from there in the base.
The physique bonus one is great. I've mostly been using, except for when explicitly unnecessary, the ailment down one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Ailments
I think I've had the physique bonus, mainly.
Yeah, here's the thing about most RPGs, man. It's like, look, you got all these strategies, and you could do them, but you know what's also a good strategy? Just hitting guys.
Just hitting
guys.
And
if your physique is way stronger, then all your characters are just going to be better at hitting, and that kind of goes a long way.
Yeah.
When you're me and you're playing in Weenie Hut Jr. mode, just doing damage is the important part.
Yeah, it's just like, look, I'm going to hit him harder than I used to. That's the end.
Speaking of Weenie Hut Jr. mode, I actually am playing in Weenie Hut Jr. mode now because...
Huzzah! Join me!
I mostly did it because this week is kind of long, and it got me into the vibe that, like, I haven't felt for most of this game, and so maybe it won't be there, but, like, I just wanted to get to the next thing. I feel there was, like, one too many places to fight things, and so I would come onto a screen and I would see all of these dudes everywhere, and I'm like, I don't want to fight you guys right now, and so I would sneak past them, and when I couldn't sneak past them, I would be in Weenie Hut Jr. mode so I could kill them faster and get my way through it, because I just wanted to move on. And I don't know if that was I didn't want to be doing the thing anymore, or if it was, this is a really cool NPC dungeon and I'm kind of interested in the plot for the first time in this game, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if it is a good pull forward or a homework pull forward, but either way, the battles were in my way, so I turned them down.
Yeah. I'm in junior mode. I'm still on the second to highest difficulty setting, or one up from the normal one. But I have started skipping battles, because sometimes you can. And I figure if that comes back to bite me in the butt, I'll just have to grind a little bit. Yeah. Whatever.
And if you need to grind to catch up, sorry, I'd probably sound weird. I just stood up to shoo a bug away. If you need to grind to catch up, kick it down to Weenie Hut Jr. mode for like a second, because that double of the normal experience is insane. And
that's nice.
Like I kicked it down for my first one, and everyone leveled up twice, and I'm like, Eli's probably level 100 right now.
I'm in my 30s.
Nice.
Yeah, I have no idea where I am, but it was ridiculous amounts of gains. But it's
nice.
That's a really cool, like,
so many gains.
Like, way for it to work that, like, I haven't really thought of because, like, the other game that I've played the most with that you can change your difficulty on the fly was Digimon Cyber Sleuth. And in that one, you get less rewards on easy difficulties. Things are just easy as shit. So you skip down to it to skip hard things. But I think keeping the numbers basically the same and just having your experience, etc., be insane on easy might be a better solution to
smart.
it. Because that then is a grind out of jail free card. Like crap, I'm nowhere near where I need to be for this boss. Let me kick it down to easy for grinding, and then I can kick it back to wherever the game is comfortable to play after that.
Yeah. It's
really cool.
No, it is pretty neat. I haven't done that, but maybe I will, because last week I complained that it had gotten really easy. Not anymore.
Yeah.
It got hard again. Well, I mean, I think I only wiped like once or twice, and I never wiped more than once on a battle, but I had a number of battles where I won on the last possible turn that I could have won.
Yeah.
Like, one person is left alive, they're in their negative health mode, and their final hit kills the bad guy. Like, that kind of thing, which is fun.
Especially if that person is Lauren, who has that triple attack if she's in the negative.
I don't have that one on her, but yeah.
That comes in clutch so many times.
No one's ever died for me, so I've never gotten to see it.
Nice.
This is 100% why I advocate for difficulty settings in video games, though, and why, like, Games should just be accessible to everyone.
For sure. Because, like, I really enjoy the challenge, but I don't have a whole lot of time. And so I changed mine on time-based reasons, not on Weenie Hut Jr. reasons. Even though Weenie Hut Jr. reasons are valid reasons. But the three people hovering over their keyboard to be like, you're just mad because you can't play Dark Souls are there. And I enjoy difficult...
Oh, here, I'll delete my message.
Okay.
God damn it, Maddie.
But, like, I enjoy difficult games, and I enjoy games, especially this one is, like, such a puzzle, and I really like that. But, like, if you hit a wall and you don't have time to grind through it, you just kind of stop playing, and that sucks. So.
Mm-hmm. At any rate, it's cool, and I hope I'll be able to keep it on my difficulty mode, but I certainly am not averse to bump. Well, remember last week I said I was going to bump it up, actually, but never mind, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
But I'm not averse to bumping it down either, if I need to. Anyway, so we make our way downtown to...
Walking fast, faces passing your homebound.
We make it our way to New Romu, which is underground, because turns out like I don't know, the surface of Romu is, like, bad. It's, like, got radioactiveness or whatever the fuck. So you get into a big old elevator and you go underground, and even though the top of Romu is mystical forest world, turns out that underground is Western world.
Yep.
Westworld.
Yeah.
So just like for the Frog the Bell Tolls, it just randomly placed Western town.
Yep. Just a desert underground. And, like, I didn't even recognize that it was underground because it kept talking about the surface. And I was like, well, obviously this is a bright and sunny desert town. So by surface, they mean below them. Like, they're up in some man-made thing, and this is down on the surface. But no, it's reversed. They just didn't make it dark and moody in the caves for some reason.
Maybe they have fake lighting or something. Who fucking knows? Yeah. Anyway, you get to New Romu, and we actually are not there to go to New Romu. We're there to go to a different town. It's just that we have to go to New Romu first.
For reasons. So we have a spaceship. We can land anywhere on the planet, but whatever.
Well, no, because the other place is also underground, but the path to get there is closed.
Sure.
So anyway, you explore the town, and it's pretty cool. A lot of stuff going on, right? Turns out this is what Sam kept calling an NPC dungeon, which means a part of the game where you have to talk to a bunch of NPCs and generally trade items and such to progress, right? And like any good NPC dungeon, you can complete it before you know you're supposed to complete it.
Yeah.
They don't like make you wait on the triggers to do things. Mm-hmm. But what you end up finding out, either sooner or later, is that if you go to the sheriff's place, it turns out this place is dangerous. There's a lot of problems going on. There's monsters where there oughtn't to be monsters. There's a tram that goes to the other town that is no longer in service, but the manual walking route is very dangerous, so it's blocked off. It's like, we're not letting anybody go unless you have security clearance. Basically, the sheriff has really been cracking down, and it seems like a good thing, not a bad thing. It's not like bad fascism. I think it's more like this sheriff moved into town and he's helping everyone be safe by imposing some rules.
Yeah.
Right? They don't go into the story much, but the sheriff seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't arrest you on sight for being a wanted person from the States. So.
Yeah, well, he actually recognizes you, and he's just like, oh yeah, I know who you are. You're chill though. He's like, yeah, I get it. API's out of seems like it's out of control. He basically is just on board with what you're doing.
Yeah.
So he tells you gotta go to the other town. Here is a pass so you can go through the dungeon to get there. But also when you get there, you're going to need some fancy clothes because the guy that you're trying to get to is throwing a big party in his mansion. And you're also going to need an invitation to the party. So now we have this fetch quest, and it's weird. The fetch quest is in this town, even though we have now unlocked the dungeon to get to the next town. It's strange. Anyway, so you get the two things.
You go to the next town, and then there's your goal, and you search around the goal for the answer. But no, it's all over here in this town.
Yeah, and I already knew that because I'd already completed one of the quests anyway.
Yeah, me too. One of the things you walk into the dress shop, and it's just like, oh, this dress will work great, right? It's like, you gained a pretty dress. I'm like, work great for what?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things in this town. There's there's a saloon, there's a casino. Everyone keeps talking about the casino, but it turns out it's actually the other town has the big famous casino, but this town also has a casino. They're just tripping casinos.
Yeah.
If you go to the casino, there's a guy who says he's been losing a lot, and unfortunately, there's no mini games. You don't get to play, which is a shame, because I was looking forward to save scumming my way into a lot of money.
Yeah.
But at any rate, if you talk to, there's a guy in the casino who's like, ugh, I'm tired of losing. You know what? I'm done. I'm out. This coin's not lucky at all. You want this lucky coin? So he gives you a lucky coin. Later, you see an NPC who's like, I lost my lucky coin. I'm so sad. And you give him the lucky coin, and he gives you a voucher for a dress from the dress shop.
I never found that NPC. I paid like 30,000 credits or something.
I just paid for it.
Oh, you can do it by paying money as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So that's how that happens. And then as for the pass, how do you get the pass, Sam? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
Let's see if I screenshot it. I think I did it like so quickly and unknowingly that I like totally just like didn't even make note of it. I was just like, oh, I guess I got it. Cool.
Yeah. I think there's somebody that used to go or something a lot, and they changed their mind or something.
Well, anyway, it's a pretty easy quest all around. Although actually the dress one was tough because I actually got the dress voucher before I even knew about the quest for the dress. And then later when I went to the dress place, the guy just said, like, do you need a dress? And she was like, no, I don't need anything right now. And that was it. Like, it didn't do a cutscene where he gave me the dress.
Weird.
And I was thinking that the game had glitched. Like, it had missed a trigger. Like, it forgot that I had the voucher. Yeah. So I went back to the guy with the voucher. I opened the menu. There's no key items menu or anything. Yeah. So you can't see if you have things. I was like, oh, God, am I, like, soft-locked? You know? But so I just went on. But later, turns out when I got to the party, they let me in. And I had the dress. So I think that the key for I have the dress now got clicked. It just didn't do the cutscene where he gives me the dress.
Weird.
It's weird. I was really worried about getting soft locked, but it turns out I didn't.
Yeah, I think since now you've shared that story and Eli shared his story, I think this is where we're seeing a little more of the wonkiness of the game. I ran into a lot of it today. But not today, because I played it like 3 days ago. But I ran into a lot of it. I was thinking mine was probably from the fact that my Vita isn't technically on the correct firmware, and I have a compatibility patch. I'm like, well, maybe that's something with it. But and so I think this is just it's the meaty middle part of it. Most people aren't going to get this far, and it's not the climactic ending, and so a couple tiny bugs and stuff get through, which is fine. Like bug finding is really hard. So
the game's pretty good as far as bugs go, but this is a weird one. So anyway, so whatever, you get your quests and then you go through the dungeon. Oh, also if you go south of the town, you get to a big scary looking spire, and as you approach it, it says the narration stops you and the text box says, as you approach the whatever, you feel a horrible dark energy coming out of it. You better turn back, or at least save your game. So I did what it asked, and I saved. And you go in there, and who should be there but our old friend and just pandery nerd schlock Cthulhu is there, and he has a sword.
To be fair, it is supposed to be their Cthulhu, because the other secret boss. They're not
just throwing Cthulhu in the game for nerd pandering. They are specifically referencing another one of their games,
because
which was nerd pandering, but still
the other secret ending boss is the hero of Breath of Death. So.
Oh, nice. So, of course, since I just saved, because you can save scum this game, I decided to try fighting him, and there's no penalty, and wow. Wow.
Yep.
He's got 150,000 health.
He had 90,000 on normal.
Oh, wow. Well, and regardless, his attacks, whip the ever-loving bejesus out of you.
Yep.
It's not like you lose instantly, but it's like you lose in
4 turns.
4 or 5 turns.
Yeah.
And it's not even the point where it's like, I bet if I tried really hard I could beat this. It's like, yeah, no, this is... I can't beat this.
Yeah.
This is in-game, at least. But that was fun. So anyway, we make our way to the next damn town, and we get to another even bigger, even skeevier town than before. And this is where we find out that, yeah, there's this rich guy. He owns this big casino, but you can't go into the casino because the casino's closed today because of a big party that's being thrown. So there's not much to do besides go to the party. So you go to the party, and
this
make a big...
This was the NPC dungeon I was talking about.
I see.
Because this one's an enclosed area with a goal and puzzles.
Yeah,
and
it's more exclusively a dungeon.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Alyssa goes in by herself because they only have... she has to go in by herself to not attract suspicion. Also, I guess they only have one dress, and also she's really pretty.
They should have all just felt like made themselves fit into the one dress.
Yeah.
Or
well, here's
alternatively,
the thing.
they all go in, but they swap between people wearing the dress.
Yeah. So,
nice. It's like a reverse Mrs. Doubtfire. Instead of one person being 2 people, it's 3 people being 1 person.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as the bodyguard is like looking down the line to check everybody's ID, the dress keeps moving with them, so he only ever sees somebody in a dress. It's foolproof.
Exactly. So at any rate, to echo Sam's complaint last week about a serious moment that was ruined by a dumb joke, in this week's serious moment ruined by a dumb joke, is they keep talking about how hard it is to get in, and you go through this whole damn quest to get in, and finally you get in. And you're in there with Alyssa, and then you go to the bartender, and oh look, the bartender is, what's her name?
Lauren.
It's fucking Lauren.
And she's like, ha ha ha, I snuck in here as the bartender. I can't believe you went through all that trouble. And then you go for a little bit north, and you talk to the bodyguard, and it's Sue.
Yep.
And Sue's like, yeah, I'm here too. And I'm just like, this is stupid. This is
they
fucking stupid.
Because the reason they did it is things are going to go south here in a second. And you're going to need
so there's a reason for it later, but they could have done it different.
But yeah, all they had to do would be would Lauren be, because Lauren had the whole thing with the sniper before she went point she was on point for you before. She could be like, all right, I'll be your backup. I'll be watching the back of the building, make sure nobody leaves. Sue will be watching the front of the building. And then when you get thrown in jail, they're there with you, and they're like, we got caught. Boom. Yeah. No jokes. Doesn't undermine the cool fetch quest that you made. None of that. The obvious Final Fantasy VII reference fetch quest that you made, and it would have been much better. But
anyway, it's dumb shit. But no, Jack, stop it. No, bad dog. I mean, you're a sweetie, but whatever. So anyway,
but other than that, this NPC dungeon is really cool. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's cool. You talk to all these people, and you get some good world building about what's been going on about this rich guy. At this point, the game starts dropping a lot of world building hints about this other species called the... I don't freaking know. There's way too many syllables in all these goddamn words in this game. But there's a species of what?
Simarax?
Yes. So Slimex. So there's these things that are they're like bugs, but they're also robots, and they're guests basically.
Yeah.
And people keep, and at this point people keep talking. And you know how games are. If everyone keeps talking about something, you know it's going to be important soon, right?
Yep.
So they keep talking about the Slimex and how they have this hive that they go to, but they're not there now. Right now they're here. Anyway, whatever. Turns out you want to get into the main room. You want to get into the connoisseur's, his personal room, but it's got a card key. So basically what you do is you talk to some NPCs and you find out how to get to these secret passageways. And then you go to, anytime you approach the NPCs, they stop talking about whatever they're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
They're all rich, and they're probably talking about their plans to go on, Jeffrey Epstein's plane or something.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get near, they're like, how about the stock market? So if you get the secret passageway, you can peek through a hole in the wall and listen in on them, which is cute. And by doing that, you get a couple of pieces of information, which allows you to piece together the connoisseur's password. So you use his password to get into the room, and and you start to snoop around. And as you snoop, let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. No, that's it.
Yeah.
You snoop around, and weirdly enough, even though this scene's important, I have less of it than of the other scenes. He's just there, right? And he's just like, darn you for snooping around.
Yeah, so I think you're snooping around in his room, and you find a way down into like his secret collection room. And when you get down there, the mob is there, and that's how you end up.
Oh, I literally just there it is. Yeah. So they keep saying like, oh, Enzo's probably got mob ties, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. Yeah, you get down to the sci-fi room, and literally there's the whole mob.
Yep.
And you don't try to fight them or anything. And they take the magical MacGuffin device that apparently you had with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is the stupidest shit in the world.
Why would you
have
do
an
that?
entire spaceship. Leave it on the spaceship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only 3 of the now 8 of you needed to be in there. At the very least, give it to Dave to hold on to. Or leave it on the ship.
If you're worried Dave's going to get captured, give it to someone on the space. It's fucking stupid as shit. Anyway, you talk to Enzo, and you're like, Enzo, do you have the thingy? And he's like, actually, I don't have the thingy, because it's actually kind of a long story, but some shenanigans happened. But eventually he sold it to a guy. He sold it to Slimer-X. And then you get thrown in jail, and then you have a break out of jail dungeon, but you meet a new character.
I love his shtick. I wish he had a passive ability to make his shtick work, because right now he doesn't work. But
yeah, so you meet everyone's favorite character, who is the sexiest robot in the world.
He's even got he's got a robot mustache.
Yeah, he's super sexy. He's got a robot mustache. He wears like a brown coat, looking like a damn snatcher. And he's apparently a famous dancer, and he'd also been foreshadowed a little bit. He's a ladies' man.
Mettaton is always going to be my robot man crush. I guess I wouldn't necessarily be a man crush, because hey, I'm bi. I can crush on whoever I want.
Right.
Mettaton is always going to be my number one robo crush. But Clark is a very close second.
Yeah, Clark is.
Yeah, and unlike Mettaton, who is like also like kind of sad and pathetic in addition to being awesome, this guy's just awesome.
Yeah.
So his shtick in battle is that he fucking sucks.
Yeah.
He's purely a support character, almost purely, and a couple of the attacks that he comes originally stocked with literally result in him dying.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a self-destruct move. There's self-destruct, and then there's Kerplunk from Dragon Quest, where you die but you heal your party. There's also a move that buffs your party's attack, but only if you die.
Yep.
So it doesn't kill you, but you use it,
and then use Kerplunk,
and then you die. Yeah. And then your party gets buffed, and it's not a time limit thing. As long as you're dead, the attack is buffed. Anyway, it's way too hard to use him. Dying is too
costly.
Dying is very costly in this game. There's very few. I only have 2 abilities that revive, and they're both very non-trivial to use.
And there's no consumables either, so it's like you can't just stock up on Phoenix Downs to make them work.
One of my revive moves is once per battle, and the other one that I just got recently with Alyssa is you have to be at 100% style or more, and it uses all your style.
Yeah.
So
that's real expensive.
So I'm not going to... I actually did use this guy a good bit, because you have to, because it's his dungeon. And it was pretty fun. Oh, and even his moves, like... His 2 moves that he has both hit a random enemy.
Yeah.
So, like, the guy he sucks ass, but I love him.
Yeah. And now Clark is perfect for throwing away.
Yep.
Yep, exactly. So you're stuck with this set party for a while. One thing I like about set party, though, is that even though it may suck and it may be difficult, you don't have to have the responsibility of fixing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like... It's actually less stress. It's like, this party composition sucks and is a big hassle for me, But on the other hand, the game is not requiring me to put thought into my party composition, so I just have to deal with it sucking instead of having to try to make it better, which is actually nice. So you escape the bottom, and then you get to the casino, and you escape the casino, and there's lots of people, and I was thinking, shouldn't you have let me go to the casino before later I trash the casino with fighting? Like, that's called dramatic build-up. First you let me go to a place that isn't a dungeon, and then later it is a dungeon, whatever. You escape, and then you decide, let's go find what's his ass, right?
His name was Saibi, which is a cute...
Saibi, yeah.
Yeah.
Saibi. So you'd think that's the end of Chapter 7, right? No, we're still in Chapter 7.
Yep.
So this game's chapters are weird, even though we've had like 2 dungeons at this point. Next, you go on another dungeon to get to the Slimerex village. And you get to the Slimerex village, and you learn all about the Slimerex. I'll try and paraphrase what their shtick is. Their Geth. They used to live in a big hive, which is very large and is on the world map, and you can see it. It looks ominous, but it's actually not ominous. It's just was their home. They're all telepathic. I don't think they're literally all one collective mind like the Geth. They just have telepathic abilities.
Yeah, so they talk about having a hive and a hive mind, but the more you talk to them, it sounds like a opt-in sort of thing. So it's like, we can access the internet, and the internet is a torrent, and it's everybody is sharing everything. And so I just
so the hive mind is more like a collective thought thingy, not like they have no personalities. So anyway, they used to live in the hive, but then one day these monsters, more like ghosts, infested the hive and drove them all out. And it really fucks up their way of life, because like literally like they don't have access to their primary mode of like communication and living, so they have to have all these like smaller generators and stuff in their little outposts where they live. It's pretty cool. They do put a lot of work into sort of building up the sort of situation, more than most of this game does, a lot actually.
I like these characters too.
They're really cool.
Yeah, and the little fetch quest thing you do, like I really enjoy talking to like every single person and learning a little bit more.
I'm into bug creatures, so
they're bugs. They're like bug robots. So you're into these people. Yeah, and they are actually like, they're not like sexy bipedal bugs. Like they're like actually like
fucking bugs. They're like praying mantises.
They're tech types. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, they're tech types. So anyway, you now are finally, now that we've gotten this quest in Chapter 8. So you go to the hive.
And you climb it. And that's the end of Chapter 8.
It's a pretty short dungeon.
Why are we climbing the hive?
We want to, because she's in love. So yeah, we go to the hive. It's a pretty short dungeon, actually. It's not like piddly short, but it's not very much.
Yeah, I really liked its shtick. You had to charge batteries, and the certain batteries would open certain doors, and it was a glorified color dungeon, but had the added thing of like your switches might not work unless you do a proper thing. And there's also a big spinny staircase at the beginning. So like
that part's cool.
Depending on what you have plugged in, you can go to certain places.
There was one actual little puzzle too. There's a part where you'll see a treasure chest that you can't get to on the top floor, and then you hit a button and the treasure chest falls into a trap door onto the lower level. And then you go down to the lower level and you go pick up the item. And that's actually not 100% required. It's only required in one instance. So that is a little bit of an optional puzzle where like, if you drop the item down and then go find it where it should be geographically, you get an item, you know? Also, there's a lot of ghosts here, so you get to start using your spectral moves, which Chan has some moves that only hit spectral enemies and do like the curse status effect and stuff. If you're on a harder skill level like me, you're actually really starting to make a lot of use of status effects, especially vulnerable, which is awesome.
Oh, vulnerable kicks ass, man.
Yeah,
it's so cool. But then also even though like rust and curse, because like if you curse someone in turn 1, them taking 20% extra damage from every hit for the rest of the battle is a big deal, you know? So you fight through it.
Like
you get
just
to the top.
Touch on status effects.
Sorry, go on.
Battle. I'm really enjoying right now the math game of like, okay, well, Lauren starts in hyper mode, so she'll start with her move that hurts extra if they're at full HP. So that'll start it. So then Alyssa will buff herself, and then Sue will use the item to buff Alyssa, because Alyssa's second turn will be her hyper turn. So then she can use the water. So then my fourth person will use my item to put vulnerable on the person with the highest HP, so that when she does her water move on her second turn, it'll hit for like 15,000 damage. Yeah, figuring out that puzzle is real good.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I think the game, I do think the enemies are a bit too spongy, especially on my skill level. They are, like, a lot of the battles, like, they're not hitting me that hard, so it's like, I'm not in a lot of danger, but they're just, like, spongy. Whereas early in the game, it's like, they would hit you for, like, half your health every turn, so it's like, they're hitting hard, you're hitting hard, it's tense. These are, like, it's still hard sometimes, but it's harder in a more spongy way. But at any rate, I think the game might rely a little bit too much on setting up big killer attacks on account of the spongy nature. So it's like, oh, I use insight on somebody, and I vulnerable the enemy, and they're in their hyper mode, and they're using this. I buff them, and then they hit, and they do 8,000 damage, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like a lot of the game is like, you just do that, and then kill one of the enemies. And then you do that, and kill the next enemy.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, once you get to the top of the dungeon, you do... I hadn't mentioned this before, but I really love this game doing the Final Fantasy VIII thing, where each party character gets a little bitty intro cutscene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love that. A, it's cool to give each character an intro. B, it lets you know when someone's going to be a party character.
Yeah.
So you get to the top and you see a dramatic cutscene where literally you just see a Gygax person or something, and he looks towards the screen, and you're like, oh, so I guess this guy's joining my party now.
Yep.
And he does. What is this guy's name?
Sybe.
No, that's right, Sybe.
Sybe.
Yeah.
Yes. So you get up there, and he's like, "Wow, good job getting up here. Thanks for like helping like free the hive, basically."
Yeah.
Because
we glossed over that you went into a weird. No, you go into the weird thing later. Where you just fight the boss here. The weird thing is at the end of the next dungeon, right?
Yeah, that's later.
Okay.
That's later.
But yeah, we fought the boss, freed Sybe, and now we're heroes.
Yeah, and you're kind of like, on one level, you're kind of like, well, wait, like if we what is it? You're like if why do you steal this thing if you were just going to give it back? And he's like, well, no, like I needed it. I needed it for this purpose. I didn't know you were gonna escape from the dungeon and come all the way get up here and get it, you know. But you're very strong, and I want to ally with you, so here, you can have it back. It's fine. It's cool. And then you talk to him about the counter device. Yeah. And he says, yes, I do in fact have a counter device. It's this entire hive. This hive, if it's fully operational, can shut down this device anywhere it may be. However, that's a big freaking thing. To get it running again, that's a big ordeal. It's not something that can be done easily. So in the meantime, we need to go... Oh, and here's the big thing. You eventually find out that there is more than one of these bad mind control devices.
Yeah.
If it was just one, they're like, you have it with you, so what's the big deal? And of course it's like, well, what if I fucking put it on myself and then waltz into an enemy dungeon like a fucking idiot?
Yeah.
Also, why didn't, when they stole it back in chapter fucking 3, they smash it to bits with a hammer?
Yeah.
Whatever. Whatever. But now it's good because it turns out there's multiple of them, so they need to find out how to counter such a thing.
Yes.
But first, because the hive isn't operational yet, we need a personal one. So basically he's like, if I could complete this small device, I could give you enough for your whole party. That way you would be protected. Which is cool. So we go on, I guess it's a fetch quest dungeon. I guess it's a sort of filler, but whatever. It's still cool. We go to the next dungeon.
And it has a weird JRPG bullshit in it, so it's worth it in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a mine, and this dungeon's gimmick is that there's often a mine cart in the way, and since you're not capable of, like, going around the minecart or climbing something more than, that's like 2 feet tall. You have to hit a switch to move the minecart. It's funny, it's a minecart thing where you're not in the minecarts, but rather you are moving the minecarts. And there's some other stuff, but that's pretty much it. And you go through the dungeon, so you get to the end, and it's like you're just walking along, and you're getting like dilithium crystals, basically, so that the guy can make your devices. So he's like, oh, we're getting closer to the crystals. And then you get to the room that's probably the final room, and I think Alyssa's head starts to feel funny. And then there's not even like a graphical effect or anything. You just all of a sudden are in a weird place.
Yeah, it's cool.
And no one even comments on it, and I actually really like how it's done. So you're in a weird purple place. It looks like you're like, I don't know, it's the fucking planet where they fight Thanos in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like the big dramatic purple place. It's purple because it's colored after Thanos. Anyway, so you go there and you walk into an you're like floating in space, and you walk into an open expanse, and a mysterious voice says, "Humanity is nothing but a foolish concept. We can become so much more." And I'm like, okay, so it's this kind of thing, huh? So then you fight the Nightmare, and the text description is, if you die in the dream, you die in real life. And the Nightmare, I don't know, it's just a weird, mysterious thingy. I think it is ghost type, which means you can use spectral moves against it, which is good.
I just hit it really hard. It kind of went down pretty easy. Yeah.
I believe it took me 2 tries, or maybe it didn't, and I forgot. But whatever. So you beat it, and nothing comes of this. I'm sure it's foreshadowing, but like...
Actually, it does. So there must have been a couple NPCs that you had missed. And I don't know why I'm talking like Elias from... Clerks 2 a lot today. This is my second time I've done that bit.
Tell me about it.
But,
there's a character in Clerks 2 named Elias?
Yes.
Wait, do you mean the NPC that mentioned the dark energy?
I don't remember, but I know why the Nightmare is important. So
tell me.
They were talking about the Hive and how it was awesome, but they had to leave for some reason. And some of them talk about the reason being that like things had infested it, and so you go up there and you kill out whatever the boss of the Hive was, I don't remember. And Cybe is like, yeah, it's still not working. That's why we have to go and do the little one. So you go and you kill the Nightmare, and then if you talk to people in the town on your way out, because you killed the Nightmare, the Hive is now working. It was somehow infecting their the Hive mind and making people not want to access it, so that they were not operating at peak efficiency, couldn't use the Hive itself. So that's why they couldn't use it. So since you took out the monsters and then took out the thing that was plaguing the Hive mind, the Hive can get up and operational again.
Cool. Love it. Love to see it. Badass.
Yeah.
So that's the deal with that boss.
Also, Eli, to answer your question, yes, there's a character named Elias in Clerks 2, and he is the best character in Clerks 2.
Awesome. I just got very confused because I was like, you're talking like Elias, and then in Clerks 2, and I'm like, okay.
You also were talking like regular Elias, frankly.
I'm cosplaying Eli, but as if he were a Clerks 2 character. It's my AU, where Eli's from the Askewniverse.
Interesting. So at any rate,
that's my OC. Don't steal.
I do still hope that the JRPG bullshit was also foreshadowing.
I hope so too.
If this weird monster talking about humanity ascending to a new plane, if that's not also foreshadowing and it's just like the villain for this chapter, that's going to be a bummer.
Yeah.
So at any rate, that's it. So you get your batteries, and you give them to the guy, and he gives them your things, but he's also in your party. And now we're going to blast off to a new planet that we haven't already been to.
Called New Loop.
Honolulu, and the reason we're going there is because there is another ancient thingy, and basically we're going to go and collect all the bad thingies before the bad guys can get them and use them, because that would be bad. And that's it. We talked about the next cutscene, because basically if you get in your ship and you fly to the next planet, and then you're just in your ship, and you save, that's still chapter 9. And then if you go to the town on the planet and save right at the entrance of the town, it's still chapter 9. Turns out chapter 10 happens precisely when you start this cutscene, but we previously decided to talk about it next week, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So never mind. Yeah. We're not going to talk about the cutscene that happens. I actually saved before it and after, because that way I could watch it again if we didn't talk about it. So there we go.
Yeah. Because I figured it would do it as soon as you start, because all the other ones this whole time have started the next thing, and that's when we've saved, but it hasn't been a big deal. But this one, like, a lot of shit happens, and I'm like, yeah, let's put that where it belongs.
Yeah, like literally you get to the town, and then there's like a long series of cutscenes setting up the next arc. So it's like, yeah, we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. But yeah, so let's...
And that is it for the week.
Yeah, let's listen to some more Hyperduck Soundworks music, and then we will talk about our memorable moments. So, my memorable moment is actually a anti-memorable moment. Actually, the only one of I only have one screenshot. These others are from the cutscene we're not talking about. So I just have one. But so there's a part where when you get back up to your ship, you can start doing loyalty missions, which is kind of cool. They don't operate the same way as a Mass Effect loyalty mission, but it's a side quest and it has to deal with each character. But
wait, when can you start doing this?
As soon as you get back up to your ship in between these last two chapters.
You mean like in between chapter 9 and 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I didn't miss it. Okay, because if it was earlier, I would have been like, what? I missed it. But okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
No. And I'm pretty certain you can do it until credits roll. But, so, cool. You talk to Sue, and Sue is like, hey, I have a problem. Can you help me with it? My son, wait, I never told you I had a son, did I? Well, he's a good kid, but he's in trouble. And, like, it's played off as a joke, but also, that's bad. Like, you should talk about your character's story if it's going to be important. Like,
well, also, what's weird about that
they're hanging a lantern on the, suddenly Buffy has a sister in season 5 type thing. They're putting a lantern on it, but like, it's still bad. Like, even with the lantern.
This game wasn't published serially, though. Like, they could have just gone back and added a single text box about him having a son earlier in the game. It's if this is a TV show or a webcomic, that I would understand, right? Yeah. But it's like, no, like, you published this game knowing that you made a joke about something having been an ass-pull, but you could have just made it not an ass-pull. Yeah. Whatever. Maybe they just thought it was a funny joke.
Yeah, I probably thought it was funny, but so I didn't go and do his side quest. I just saw that they were available because of that, and I was like, yeah, not gonna mess with that right now.
Nah.
But there are some hilarious ones at the beginning of chapter 10 that I had screenshotted, but I didn't realize that was the beginning of chapter 10. But
I will do one real quick. I continue to love this game's robots. If you are in the western town and you talk to a robot, it's a sweeper robot, and he says, no one ever thanks Sweeper Robot for all its hard work. If it wasn't for Sweeper Robot, this floor would be slightly more dirty. I like it.
The robots are great.
Robots are real good.
You should unionize.
I just have a couple.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy in like a pool hall, or what looks like a pool hall, or something like it, and he says, after losing a week's wages at the casino, I like to come here and be miserable. And it just reminded me...
Yes.
It reminded me of Undertale, so that was why I liked it, but also it was a funny line.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like the sad ghost in Undertale who likes to lay on the floor.
After we have a meal, I like to... It's a family tradition to lie down and feel like garbage. So, maybe it's Napstablook possessing that guy.
Or, no, this is him before he became a ghost.
Before he became a ghost, you're right. And then... there's, in the dungeon after we get Saibi, there's one of the big, machines. You can examine a bunch of them, and one of them goes, at least this piece of heavy machinery hasn't gained sentience and started attacking you. It's the little things in life.
Yeah.
Nice.
I appreciate that. Also, I forgot to bring this up. After getting Clark, and I took a short YouTube video of this, there is a bit... with, some snack machines, and I ended up getting trapped between them. So, thank goodness, when you save and quit in this game, it puts you in a slightly different place. It puts you in a starting position, because otherwise I would not have been able to continue the game.
Yeah.
I got there after you had already shared that video, and being stupid, I decided to see if I could also get myself stuck between the vending machines. And I did.
It turns out the answer was yes.
I live here now. But then I got out. So
you were able to get out?
Maybe it depends. Maybe I just got lucky, or maybe it depends on the version of the game you're playing. I don't know. I just mashed the D-pad and finagled, and I popped right out. And then I went back and got in there again just to see if I could reproduce it. So I'm. You're learning a lot about me in this conversation.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a cute little bug.
Yeah.
And again, thank goodness for the way that it handles saves. They probably did that on purpose. I'm sure they were like, this is gonna save a lot of trouble if we just do this.
Specifically because people are gonna get stuck between these two snack machines.
Yeah.
Specifically, Eli is going to get stuck between these two snack machines.
But did you have any more, Maddie?
Oh. Yes. This is actually another anti one. When you go to the fucking museum, the art gallery, rather, I don't know. I just feel like the art gallery was clearly written by people who don't know and have never been to a fucking art museum. If you go there, it's supposed. I know it's supposed to be jokey, but if you go there, you talk to one of the patrons, and she's like, observe how the paradigm shift contrasts with the delightful verbiage of the hues and tones in this place. And I'm like, I get it. The joke is that she's using pretentious art words, but those don't mean anything.
Yeah.
And you can just make up your own pretentious art words that do mean something. And also, what's wrong with having deep opinions about art? Why are you making fun of this person for it's not even a and then there's two other dialogues that I didn't screenshot that are kind of the same thing. It's just look at all these fancy people with their fancy art appreciation, and I'm like, so it's good.
What they could have done to have the same joke but it have a punchline and be good is you have one person that is talking with real art words. He's talking about the impressionism and verisimilitude and words that actually mean things in the art world and all of those things. And then you have another person that has that exact same text box. And then you have a third NPC that's like, my buddy's here on a blind date, and he's just been using words from his word-a-day calendar or whatever. Where it's the joke is that he's using the bad words instead of it just...
Or alternately, put an NPC that is me, and the NPC just goes, yo, this one slaps. Because in my opinion, that's how you should appreciate art. You sit in front of it for a second in the painting, and you stare at it for about 10, 15 seconds, and then you say out loud, if you like it, you say... yo, this one slaps. And then you go to the next one. And then if you don't like it, you're like, kind of lame. And and of course, if you really, really like it, you can stare at it for 5 entire minutes if it's a really good painting. But yeah.
My problem with the art museum, now that you bring that up, is that there's an NPC who says, examine any of the paintings that you like. First of all, none of them look like paintings. They're all just blue boxes.
Did they forget to put pixel paintings in there?
They don't have any details. And secondly, you can't examine a single one of them. I wanted to see the art. I wanted to enjoy the museum.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even mind it not being able to see the art, but what if you click on and it's just like a text box, like, this is a beautiful painting of a scenic landscape, or this is a portrait of blah, 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 blah. Like, what the heck? Come on, why even have an art gallery?
Yeah, or, as an artist myself, I was very disappointed.
And funny enough, I actually really enjoyed the architecture and the look of the gallery. I liked the red carpet and the stairs, and it actually looked very nice. It was a nice little gallery.
If they didn't want to make an Ellie painting type thing over and over again to have actual paintings, they could have just used this as remember all the cool art bits from this game, and you just could look at like all of the cutscenes and the high quality art and stuff.
Oh, that could have been cute.
Just as a place to go and look at it. And it wouldn't make sense in the world, but the rest of the game doesn't make sense in the world, so it's okay.
Who cares? Yeah. Also, there is an item, and I guess this is technically a dumb reference, but guess what? Sometimes dumb references, I like them because I'm the one being pandered to.
Yes.
Well, actually, I would have liked it more if it didn't have the reference. Anyway, all of Sue's weapons are fists or whatever. Anyway, he gets a weapon in this thing called Sonic Knuckles.
Oh, I love
it. What's cute about that is that at this point, a lot of the weapons are Sonic.
Uh-huh.
So you have like a Sonic sword, a Sonic bow, and then Sue gets a Sonic Knuckles. And usually they use the word fists for his weapon.
Yeah.
So also like Sonic Knuckles isn't like a sensical reference. It's like, that's not his name, that's just two different people. Like, it's not Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. It's just Sonic Knuckles. I find that extremely funny.
Yeah.
And then the flavor text is gotta punch fast, which would be annoying, although that weapon's ability is that increases your speed. So, you got some pros, you got some cons. Overall, I appreciate it because it does make you punch fast. And it's called Sonic. Like, I'm imagining like a kid like not remembering the name of the character. You know what I mean? And he's like, "Mom, that's Sonic Knuckles."
Yeah,
you know?
Like how my mom referred to boy band people. Like there was Nick Backstreet, and there was
or Sans Undertale.
Yeah, Nick NSYNC or whatever, Justin NSYNC. That was it. Sam Undertale.
Or and this is actually canon, Luigi Mario.
Luigi Mario.
Anyway, so Sonic Knuckles is now my favorite video game character. That's all I got.
That's a good one. Yeah, so that'll do us for the week. Reminder, if you want us to play either Lost Odyssey or Last Remnant, you can tell us about it on our Ko-Fi. There, if you support us, there will be a little Doomaflashi you can click on and vote. And all of us want you to vote Lost Odyssey, and it is currently in the lead, which means that the last 3 people who have already donated that have not voted will now vote Last Remnant and ruin our lives, because that's our luck. But but yeah, go and vote for Lost Odyssey or Last Remnant if you want to.
I also wanted to say, Ken and I are cheating. He asked me specifically which one I wanted to play. I told him Lost Odyssey, and he said, then that's what I'm voting for.
Nice.
Aww.
I have a good soon-to-be husband.
Nice.
See, I wouldn't consider that cheating if it was like a Lady and the Tiger situation where it's like the story where like they explain your whole relationship with Ken, and then they say that Ken asked you what game he should vote for, and at the end of the story it's like, now dear reader, which game did Ken vote for? And you have to like parse his motivations, like does he love his husband and want him to be happy, or does he love his husband and you show love by spiting your partner and making his life miserable? you can go either way, as like a joke.
And you've gotta read the whole thing to know what Ken's character is like, to know which one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I feel like it could go either way.
That's good. But yeah, hopefully we get to play either one, because both of them are good, and we like we're joking about you should play Lost Odyssey, but that is the one we want you to play. But because we knew we wanted to play it so bad, we worked really, really hard to find another game that we would be just as happy for. So we will not be upset if you go and vote for Last Remnant. We are Last Remnant stans. We are all about it. It just got a remaster. It looks super gorgeous. All of that stuff. But we happen
I forgot about the remaster.
But we happen to want you to play Lost Odyssey with us. But so also do that. It'll be really cool. We will next week. Me and Maddie will have a bonus episode for you. Haven't quite decided what we were doing. We had a plan. That plan fell through twice. So we're going to think of something probably when we stop recording, and we'll have that next week. Week after that, we will have our second to last Cosmic Star Heroine episode, and we will be announcing what game we got then. So you just got this episode and one more of voting time for everybody. But yeah, if you like what you heard and you wanted to help us reach new listeners, you could do that in a bunch of different ways. The mathy easy one for you is just to leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. That puts us into the quote-unquote algorithm. Or you can just tell your friends. If you have friends that like video games, just let them talk to us. Or
if you have friends that hate video games.
Yeah. I mean, we would love to tell your friends that they're wrong. So just
or prove or confirm their biases.
Yeah, whichever one depends on.
Look, we don't care. Just tell people about our fucking podcast, unless they're Nazis.
Yeah. We don't want no stinking Nazis. Send that broke Nazi home. But so help us grow the family a little. We like meeting new people. We had a new friend show up last night whose name is Jim, and they like Xenogears, and they also like Parasite Eve, and they would fit in really good here, and I'm glad that they're coming to hang out. Otherwise, just hit us up on rpgbook.club. Our website has a lot of cool articles and blogs and stuff, and all of our links to our socials, like our Twitter and our Discord, so you can come and talk to us. I should have read this paragraph. I've been rambling, but whatever.
Oh well.
As always, for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I've been Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye, love you.
Nerds.